Konosuba is one of the best isekai anime ever made. Which isn't saying much, but oh well. I first watched it all the way back in 2021, and it was the third anime I ever watched, and still remains one of my favourites. Recently, in preparation for the 10-year anniversary, I decided to rewatch the whole thing, in dub because I prefer it, and I thought of this video. One of the main points of Konosuba is that all of the members of the team are completely useless, but when put together, they can achieve the impossible. But who is actually the most useless? To answer this question, I'm going to be looking at all of the major fights in the main series and dictating how much each team member contributed towards it. This will be based on both strategy and execution, to avoid Megumin being given first every time due to being the nuker. Anyway, let's begin. Konosuba. Despite being the first major fight in the series, we already see everyone start to fall into their role that we see them perform later in the show. They all did very well. But in last place we have Megumin. She caused this fight to happen in the first place by nuking the Dulhun's house every day, and her only battle contribution was killing the minions before becoming redundant for the rest of the fight. Not her best showing by any means, plus 1 point. In third, we have Darkness, who tanked a lot of hits and kept the Dullahun distracted for a large majority of the fight. A strong showing, but a less important role than the other two, so she only gets plus 2 points. In second, we have Kazuma, purely due to him figuring out the weakness that they would eventually use to kill him, as if he didn't do this, this probably would have gone on far longer. Plus 3 points. The undisputed MVP of this fight was Aqua. She instantly killed his steed, distracted the minions from hurting anyone, unwillingly, severely weakened him with Sacred Create Water, and dealt the final blow with Sacred Turn Undead. On top of this, she revived everyone at the end of the battle. Aqua hard carried this fight. Plus 5 points, however, minus 1 point for destroying the town and completely screwing over the party's financial situation. Overall, a pretty good showing across the board. Now, on to the next fight. Konosuba. I might be completely wrong with who I give last place to, but in my eyes they did nothing all fight. Fourth place goes to Lalatina.
Never call me by that name again!
She just aura farmed in front of the boss the whole time. Probably slowed down its movement, but did nothing to contribute to destroying it. I would give no points, but to keep the points from becoming arbitrary, she gets 1 point. In third is Kazuma. Apart from being Megumin's hype man, his only contribution was using, and being used for, Drain Touch. But Wiz can also use Drain Touch, so Kazuma didn't really have that big of a role in this fight. The real question is whether Aqua would let Wiz drain her, and if Wiz would die from doing it. I don't like how I phrased that. The top two can be switched around, but I decided to give second place to Aqua. She dispelled the barrier, which is the only reason they were able to do literally anything to it, and she served as a major source of mana to Megumin, but also wanted to run away immediately, so that hurts the score a bit, plus 3 points. In first is Megumin, as she blew up the destroyer once, which neutralised it, albeit with help from Wiz, and then blew it and the show's budget up for the final time to end the fight, plus 4 points. But the real MVP of this fight was my girl Wiz, so she gets a pat on the head. That brings us to the end of Season 1, with these being the current scores. Aqua is at 7 points, Kazuma at 5, Megumin also at 5, and Darkness at 3. Now we enter Season 2. And the movie. This is another one of those battles with a clear fourth place, being Aqua. Her only notable contribution was attempting to exercise Vanir, which failed, plus 1 point. In third place is Kazuma, as he removed the magic circle and added the talisman before later destroying it. On top of this, he played the role of tactician for the fight. The only reason he's third is because I think the others did more, plus 2 points. Second place goes to Megumin, who was the only one strong enough to actually deal damage to Darkness. If she wasn't there, the battle would have been a stalemate, plus 3 points. Now, ranking Darkness for this fight was hard, because she was technically the villain they were fighting. However, she managed to keep Vanir under control throughout the whole conflict, and she willingly let herself get exploded by Megumin, despite knowing it could kill her. Plus 4 points to Lalatina. Konosuba. For once, everyone actually contributed to this fight, so round of applause. Great teamwork, honestly. Anyway, last place goes to Darkness. She kept the townspeople safe from the poison, and using her Lalatina for Dustiness name recognition got them into the area. but she was fairly uninvolved with the actual combat, so plus 1 point. Third place goes to Megumin, who, well, did Megumin stuff, you get the idea by now, plus 2 points. Second goes to Kazuma, who second sealed into being a tactician for this fight. He came up with a game plan, sacrificed himself to buy time and to get Hans into position for Megumin's explosion, plus 3 points. He would be first if it weren't for the star player, who this time was Aqua. First off, she instigated this whole fight through the need to protect the members of her religion. Then, she maintained constant purification on the poison water to protect people, and she was the only reason they managed to defeat him in the end with God's Requiem. On top of this, Kazuma's entire plan revolved around the fact that Aqua could revive him. She managed to fill Darkness's role in protecting, Megumin's in nuking, and allowed for Kazuma to play his. Elite showing from Aqua, plus 4 points. After seeing that, I bet you want to sign up to subscribe to my channel. I'm hopefully starting a proper schedule, and remember, every other YouTuber better than me pads their uploads, whereas I'm all natural. Konosuba! For the movie, the main fight is obviously Sylvia, but from what I've heard, the whole second phase was anime exclusive, so keep that in mind if you are a novel reader. Either way, last place once again goes to Darkness, as she protected Komiko and kept Sylvia busy, but was possessed by Vanya for the majority of the fight, so the credit goes to him really, plus 1 point. In third is Aqua, as again, Kazuma's plan revolved around her resurrection powers, and without her blessings, Kazuma would have been screwed entirely. She also helped to charge up the railgun, which failed, but at least she tried, plus 2 points. Silver medal goes to Megumin, as it was her movie, so it makes sense that she'd be important. She fully charged the railgun that ended Sylvia's first phase, so if this was based on the light novel she would be 1, but she also dealt the final explosion in combination with Union, plus 3 points. And of course, the gold medal goes to Mr. Popular Phase himself, who came up with the entire plan to defeat Sylvia, figured out her weakness by being able to read Japanese, turned himself into her weak point by rizzing her up, and then sacrificed himself again to win the battle. Chadzuma's best showing by far, he definitely deserves these 4 points.
Oh, yeah.
And the diamond medal goes to Komiko, who killed Sylvia. Good job, Komiko. That brings us to the end of season 2 and the movie, but as there's only one fight left, I won't show the current scores. Konosuba. I actually completely forgot this was even a battle before rewatching it, but this is the last boss I will mention. In this battle, everyone contributed loads, so this was a very difficult ranking, as any of them could have been number 1. Except Aqua. She buffed the entire group and revived everyone at the end, but was also uninvolved in the actual fight, plus 1 point. Next is Darkness, who lures the monster in and tanked the entire force of it to keep everyone alive. The fact she is third, with this being her strongest showing yet, is crazy, and if it weren't for how extreme the other two went for this, she would be number 1, plus 2 points. In second place, we have Megumin, as she whittled away its magical energy every day with Explosion, which is the only reason it was slightly beatable, and she dealt the finishing blow to end the fight, plus 3 points. The Master Tactician is back for more. This time, Kazuma united an entire army of adventurers, directed everyone with the strategy that he came up with, launched himself onto the Hydra so that he could continuously drain touch it to fully weaken it enough for Megumin's explosion. Put some respect on his name for this, as he has unironically carried the group for the later half of the series. Plus 4 points. And with that, we have reached the end. It is time to reveal who was the most useless. So the least useless was Kazuma, at 18 points, mainly due to him being the tactician who came up with the strategy to almost every boss. It's quite a predictable outcome, but oh well. The second least useless member is Megumin at 16 points, which is 2 points higher than her age to all the freaks out there. Inherently, her role makes her a key player, as most enemies would not be remotely beatable without the power of the most dangerous spell the world has ever known. I tried to scale it accordingly, but in the end, Explosion was too powerful. Now, we have the two most useless members, but who's going to take home the crown? That dishonour goes to Darkness, but first, a word on Aqua. When planning this video, I thought Aqua was actually going to win, as she was key in beating all of the generals for season 1 and 2. But after Hans, she just takes L after L, which dragged her down to a 15 point total. So put respect on the goddess Aqua, she isn't actually useless. Now for Darkness. The main thing holding her back is her role in each fight. In almost every battle she is not involved and is instead protecting passersby, but when she is involved she scores fairly highly. As a result of my scuff scoring system, Darkness ended up with an 11-point total. So that is the answer to who is the most useless in Konosuba. I expect that some people won't be happy with the results, and that's perfectly fine, as this is all my opinion and in no way objective. If you have your own ranking, please leave it in the comments so I can judge you. Anyway, God's blessing on you for watching to the end, and have a good day.